Have you ever been faced with a decision where your personal interests seem to be in conflict with your loyalty to our organization? Where what seems good for you may not be good for the organization? It happens to a lot of us, and it can be very stressful as we struggle with making the best decision. Imagine that a vendor has offered your family tickets to a concert headlined by the latest teenage sensation. Do you take the tickets and make your 13-year-old daughter happy, but potentially feel obligated to the vendor for future purchases? Or do you refuse the tickets, but then face an evening of teenage tears when you get home from work? It can feel like you're caught between a rock and a hard place. The good news is that by the end of this training, you'll have the tools to confidently make the best choice in these situations. You'll make the right choices for both yourself and for the organization, avoid potential disciplinary action, and feel a whole lot better in the process. The first step to avoiding conflicts of interest is to be able to identify one. A conflict of interest can occur anytime we have a financial interest or some other interest, such as a political or social interest, that could in some way impair our fairness and impartiality on the job. Some examples of a conflict of interest include outside activities like a second job, holding political office where your official duties are in conflict with your work responsibilities, or owning shares in a vendor or a competitor. Also, accepting a valuable gift, such as the concert tickets, from one of our vendors can create real conflicts of interest. Because the next time you give more work to that vendor, you may have created the appearance that you provided that work in exchange for the valuable gift, something that appears unethical to others and damages your reputation. Also, since you feel obligated to the vendor, you may not make the best decision for our organization. So by now, you should have the information you need to identify a conflict. Let's say your brother-in-law is a technology vendor and he approaches you about helping him get a contract with our organization. Since you have a personal relationship with your brother-in-law, it is clearly a conflict of interest for you, so you must disclose the conflict. Talk with your manager about our organization's mechanism for disclosing conflicts. The important point is that if we have identified a potential conflict of interest, we need to reveal it. Once we've disclosed the conflict to the company, we need to recuse ourselves from any further business dealings related to that conflict. What that means is that although your brother-in-law is free to pursue a contract with our organization, you must remove yourself from the decision-making process. You can't have any part in deciding whether to give your brother-in-law the work or in writing his contract. In summary, avoiding conflicts of interest means that you need to identify the conflict, you need to disclose the conflict, and you need to recuse yourself from any possible business dealings related to that conflict. 3 simple steps to confidently making the best decision. In the situation involving the concert tickets, it's now probably pretty clear that you have to refuse the tickets. In the short term, it may not make the vendor or your daughter happy, but in the long run, you'll avoid the consequences of violating organization policy, and your reputation for ethical business dealings will remain intact among your colleagues. Now, doesn't that make you feel better already? If you have any questions about conflicts of interest or other compliance issues, please contact our Ethics or Compliance Office. We are here to help.